Hey, so this is my sixth Decathlon training journal log. Um, so this means that I have finished my first 6 week training cycle. Um, my training is broken up into 6 weeks, every 6 weeks, and the intention is to sort of acclimate to what I'm doing and figuring it'll take me 6 weeks to acclimate to it, and then I can sort of increase, change, adjust. Um, so, looking at my sheet, right, I completed my early preparation phase. That was 6 weeks of this order of exercise, this order of training. Um, the mid preparation period is really listed as this very very similar, but with resisted sprints instead. At this time, I have no way to do resisted sprints. I'll need to pick up something. So my intention is to effectively do the early preparation period training block a second time in the next 6 weeks. First, looking at this week, did a hill workout. Hamstrings are pretty sore. So I didn't do too much. I did a full warm up and I got going and it was okay. On Tuesday, I did an upper body lift, good shot put practice. I was throwing with my friend and he was giving me some good advice. I ended up getting a good final throw out, 47 feet with a 12 pound. I said I'm not going to switch over to the 16 until I throw 50, so I'm hoping that 50 feet comes soon. Um, I did the first tempo workout where I didn't just do 100 repeats. I did 5 by 200 on the track in a pouring down rain thunderstorm because it was just like when I had the opportunity to do it. But it was great. It felt so good. It was way faster than I thought it would be. And so that's like a step in the right direction. Um, my speed endurance day, I forgot to write down what I did, but I put my spikes on and I ran fast on turf. It felt okay. I was feeling beat up from the sprints. The next day I took off, and then I went camping that night. And I took another day off because I was pretty tight. I was at a track meet for a long time on Saturday for the high school team, and then Sunday was off. So, and I ended the week at 197.6, which brings me down to 14.4 pounds lost. Really good. And if you look at the chart, like the green line is kind of a moving average. I'm really working my way down. It's good. There's some fluctuations up and down, but overall, like I'm really heading the right direction, and it's great. Um, so weight loss is going well. Sprint training is going well. Okay, so now summary of the first 6 week cycle. So let me pull something on screen. There we go. Okay, so finish the first 6 week cycle. I'm down from 212 to 197 ish, which is 14.4 pounds. What did I do training wise during this period of time? I did 11 tempo workouts. I did 5 speed endurance workouts, although they were often cut short or the volume wasn't as much or the intensity wasn't as much. I got spikes on. I started to run a little quicker. I did 6 hill workouts. Again, some of them were really productive. Some of them had to be cut a little bit short. I started recording my workout results toward the end. So now I know what times I'm running for the 100 repeats. I know what I'm running for the 200 repeats. And I can start comparing how I feel for future workouts to how I felt and what I ran in previous workouts. And I'm hoping it'll gauge improvements in my fitness. It'll be able to gauge whether I'm going too hard or too easy on given days once I have a better fitness base and I know where my performance levels are at. I started throwing the 12-pound shot again after not touching it for a really long time. I built up to a 41-foot stand and a 47-foot spin, which is great. I did the same build up with javelin. I haven't been throwing it a ton, but I did pick up some javelin balls, and I've been trying to get my shoulder in shape. I don't know. I don't think I mentioned it really in my training logs, but I have been throwing javelin a little bit here and there, getting the shoulder in shape. I believe my best throws were out in the 120 to 130 foot range. My personal best in college was about 160. I was a lot stronger. I was heavier. I was like all the things that make you throw javelin further. So I'm just getting back into shape, and I'm hoping to throw javelin pretty well eventually. And I picked up new track spikes to train and compete in. Like I'm trying to set myself up for success in this first 6 week cycle. The goal here was don't get injured, get some volume under your belt, just get going. So I thought it was great, and I'm sure my wife will tell you I'm just talking about training all the time. And I watched NCAA's decathlon and heptathlon this past week, which is really pumping me up, making me think like what can I do in a decathlon over time? Clearly not NCAA Division One, but just to get out there and do my best, and it's a big motivator. So the first 6 week cycle was so good. Early preparation phase. I'm repeating the 6 week cycle for a second early preparation phase. And what I am doing is essentially repeating it with just a little bit more gusto. So I am increasing some intensity in some places, I am increasing volume in other places, and I am structuring my lift days so that I am actually getting work done and I have a plan for each day. So lift was one of the things that wasn't specifically laid out in the sprint training program research article that I read. It just said hypertrophy day or maximal strength day or explosive strength day. And like even in the citations for the article, it didn't really get into what those meant. Just, I mean, you know what they mean, but not exactly how to go about each of them. So I between reading that and past experience with lifting and reading some articles on training that masters athletes should do, kind of specifically, like why does a masters sprinter become slower as they age? And like what's important in injury prevention and muscle mass and a couple other things. And what they called out was one, the importance of masters athletes to get a higher amount of protein than a younger athlete. It is important for muscle rebuilding that a masters athlete needs to get more protein relative to a younger athlete. So I'm going to make sure I get a higher amount of protein on every day. Second thing is there were a few lifts that they commonly recommend. They say that masters athletes, the most common injuries are Achilles tendon, calf related. And then like sort of second to that would be hamstring related. So my first lift day is going to be bench, power clean, ring row. Those are kind of my core exercises, my strength building exercises, muscle building exercises. And then I'm going to do light assisted Nordic curls for hamstrings, sissy squats for quads and knee health, and then eccentric calf raises for Achilles and calf health. And I'm going to do those once a week just as a means of keeping the muscles healthy, helping to hopefully be a little bit of injury prevention. If they feel really light and I don't get too sore from them, I may repeat them on lift day 2, but right now lift day 2 looks like overhead press, hang clean, back squats, and then assisted pull-ups. Again, my main 3 sort of strength building exercises followed by an accessory. So structured lift days will allow me to build some strength. I feel like my legs are in good enough shape from the first 6 weeks of running that I can start to add this volume without hurting myself too bad. Power clean volume, squat volume, hang clean volume are going to be low. I'm not going to go too overboard because, again, the focus is still on the running days, and I'm going to be increasing the volume of my running days. So intensity is staying the same, but volume is going to increase. So tempo day 1, most of this first cycle, I've been doing 10 by 120 yard. I'll put that down here, just not confused. On a turf field, 60% intensity, 1 minute rest. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm just going to add 5 more. Just building volume. I'm not running them any faster, just increased volume. Tempo day number 2, I'm going to do 5 to 10 200-meter repeats at 60% with 2 minutes rest on the track. This last week, week 6 of the first cycle, I did 5 by 200, and I'm going to my intention is to just climb up each week throughout this cycle. So this first week I'll do 5 again, then I'll do 6, then I'll do 7, then I'll do 8, 9, 10, and finish the cycle on 10, provided that I'm healthy. Again, this is I want to build up my training base. And then speed endurance days. So the full volume that I should have been doing on speed endurance days during this first cycle is 600 meters of speed endurance, with anywhere between 60 to 100 meter long reps. I never got that high. I never even got close to doing that high. So I want to build up and do actually the full speed endurance workouts. So again, this may ramp up over time. I may start with 6, and then ramp up from there. So this really should probably look like 6 to 10. And I'm hoping that by the end of this 6-week cycle that I will be able to do the full prescribed training that is expected by my program. And then hills, just to add a couple hills. I was already doing 4 to 6 hills per day. So this is just, hills aren't changing that much. Because I think those are going well. So that's what I got planned. So this week went well. The last 6 weeks, the first training block went awesome. The next training block, this is what I have planned. I'm going to try to keep, I realize I'm increasing intensity, increasing volume while I'm on a calorie deficit because I'm trying to lose weight. I believe that what I'm going to try and do is continue to lose weight through this training cycle, continue to lose weight during the next training cycle, and then do a maintenance period. Because so now 6 weeks will bring me to the beginning of August. Then the next 6-week cycle will bring me into mid to late September. And then I will probably do a maintenance phase through like October, November, that kind of round period, depending on where my weight's at after these next 2 cycles. I was just talking to my wife about this. I think what I'm going to do is try and cut down to around 180 and then do maintenance for a little bit, see how I feel, and then cut down from 180 to like around 170, and then maintenance there. Like that's where I want to be. I think 165 should be my competition weight, but I just need to see how my body feels. So I think go down to 170. That's my training weight, and hopefully I will be at 170 by early next year. We're talking like February, and if I can be at 170 in February, then that means that I can train harder because I'm getting more calories in where I'm just maintaining weight instead of trying to be on a deficit. And I can train hard, February, March, April, May, and then like do some meets in late May, June, in preparation for 1 or 2 decathlons during the summer of 2022. So again, I do a lot of like just planning, and it helps me figure out what I need to do and how fast I need to do it, and all of that. So thank you everybody for watching. I think this felt like a really long one. So thanks everyone for listening to me rant about this. And Pellet, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you watching my videos, and I'm looking forward to training with you this week. Thanks everybody, and have a good day. Starting week 1 of cycle 2 tomorrow.